Hi, and welcome to today's workshop on simple email marketing with HighLevel. If you're just starting out with HighLevel or you're struggling to work out how to send the emails, then you'll find this workshop of huge value. So my name is Julian Mills and I'm joined by Atticus Mills here, and we'll be starting the workshop in a few minutes when all the attendees have arrived. Simple email marketing in HighLevel. So where you start with that, you go to marketing. And then you've got emails at the top here, emails. The first area you'll see is your statistics, gives you the overall performance of your emails based on time. So there's some of my stuff there. And then we've got campaigns. So in HighLevel, an email broadcast or an email blast is called a campaign. You know, if you want to send out to 1,000 people, and one email sent to 1,000 people would be an email campaign. And obviously then we've got our email templates here. So we'll start here looking at templates. And also these are templates you can pull into the workflows and the automation later on. So this is where you store all your email templates. A useful way to organize them is using folders. Okay, otherwise before long you'll have like 500 email templates in here and you won't be able to see them. You won't be able to see the wood for the trees because you're just so much stuff. So make sure you sort of put them into folders. So for instance, for these high-level workshops, I've got a folder called Mark to Make Workshop Promotional Emails. So all the emails live in here in this folder. And there's a year's worth of emails in here. So here's the one for today's workshop I created. So this is a template. And I'll show you how to create those in a minute. So this is using I can't remember what they call this one, but it creates a nice, easy to edit template that's responsive as well. So it's built in blocks, and it automatically resizes to the screen size. You know, if you're using a big monitor, then it looks different to if it's on a mobile device. So it's all very blocks. We'll show you one of those in a minute. So that's one of mine there I'm using, template. So we'll just go back, go to template. So you want to create a new template, or you're just starting out, you click on new template here, and we've got all these different ways to create template emails. So if you've already created the campaign previously, you can pull in the email you created previously. Yeah. We've also got a stack of email templates to start us off in the system. So if you search on your industry or as similar as you can get, you find an email template in here. Yeah, designed ones. The only thing I'd say about those is the more images and the more links you include in your emails, you know, the more the chance you are of going into spam filters. And to be honest, a lot of people don't tend to send these fancy ones really anymore. It tends to be we use plain emails. But if you want something fancy, they're there for you. There's templates. We can also we start with a blank template, which is probably where you most likely start. Click on the blank template, and we've got 3 ways to create. We've got 3 ways to create a blank template. If you want a really, really, really plain format, you'd use this one here. So this is as near as damn it like a blank Google Mail email or an Outlook email. Yeah, you've got no way of formatting it. You're just going to have hi there, and you just start putting in text in there. You know, you can't add any structure to it. It's just going to be like you're writing an Outlook email. But it will have an unsubscribe link at the bottom because it's a marketing email. So the system will automatically apply an unsubscribe link at the bottom of your email. You can use that sometimes to create a plain one. If you want to do something a little bit more fancy, you might use a HTML email. So if you've got a graphic designer on board or a website designer who could design you a HTML style email with a frilly border and all that sort of stuff, if you want that, then you could do that. You could just embed the raw HTML code in there to create the email. Again, it's a long time since I've used that one because it's quite hard to edit. You need to know HTML if you want to change the spelling. If you want to make any changes, you need to know HTML. So I wouldn't recommend that one. But the design editor one is really useful, and that's the template I showed you previously was designed in the design editor. You select here, and when you first look at it, it looks like nothing. yeah. But the way this is built up, and it's very similar to this in Mailchimp, I believe now. Yeah, but it's basically built up by blocks. Yeah, and you drag in all the elements. You want an image in there. You drag an image. And obviously, this is the blocks make it responsive to a mobile device or a big screen. So a little bit plain. You can start to, if you want a 2-column section in here, you can put 2 columns in there. Yeah, and we could put text in there. You can put buttons in there. So a little bit of playing about. You can start to create your first template, and then obviously once you've got your first template, it gets easier all the time. Actually, put a footer in there like so. And you can move them around. I can, hang on. It's not going to move around for me there very easily. But you get the idea there. I don't like this grey at the side here, so if you click on here like so, you can make it full width like that. Yeah, and any of these elements here, you can control the padding. You can start to control the padding, the left, the right hand side, the top, bottom. Yeah. So with a little bit of playing about, you can create your own templates. Does that make sense, guys? Any questions?
Julian, what's the dimension, the width for any design that you need for, say, a banner, like a header?
Good question, that was, Steve. If you add a header in here, it will automatically resize to fit. I'll show you. So I've got an image there. If I go to edit the image, I can pull in one of mine. Upload from media library. There's something I was working on before. So I don't know the actual size. That's the max it'll go there, Steve. I'd have to check that for you.
Okay.
Trial and error on that one. But you can see you can resize it in there now. That's a new feature. Yeah, so you can play back with that one, and I'll go back. That's the most useful one I found, is template builder. So you don't want too many images, you don't want too many links in your emails. A new feature is Atticus spotted just yesterday. If you're already using Mailchimp or ActiveCampaign, you can now actually import them. So if you're moving over to HighLevel from, say, here in this case, Mailchimp, you can the instructions are here to be able to pull in your existing templates, which is a big bonus. And not just Mailchimp, but ActiveCampaign, Kajabi, and even others, which is an interesting one. So it gives you instructions how to be able to, say a third-party tool that's not listed here, send an email to that email address there, and the system will have a best stab at creating a template for you, so cutting out some work there. Is that okay? I think I've covered everything there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. And also you see we've got a new feature here, which I must admit I've not used. Being able to create an AI. So using the AI to actually create templates for us. I've not had a chance to use that on myself yet. But you will notice at HighLevel, more and more AI is creeping into the tool, being able to do so much more for us. Okay, so once you've got your templates set up, then we can go to campaigns. So as I mentioned before, a campaign is like an email broadcast, sending a one-time email to however many people you wish to send it to. And you see here's some that I've done previously. Yeah, and you can see there was the email, and you can see the stats for it. See some nice stats. And you can see which one, you can see who opened that email, who opened it, who clicked. And the great thing is, if I wanted to send an email to, or do something with those people that opened the email, I could actually highlight them there and then export that as a list. So I might want to send them a follow-up email to only the people that clicked on the email or replied, or if anyone hard bounced on there. Yeah, Andrew, they're bounced there. So I could by downloading data and uploading it, I could mark them as unsubscribed or do not disturb. Do that. And just a reminder, if you haven't already got HighLevel, then below in the description, you'll find a link where you can sign up for a 30-day free trial with HighLevel from our agency, Marketomate. So click the link below and we'll look forward to helping you get started on your HighLevel journey. But to create an email campaign or an email broadcast, you go to emails, create a campaign. Yeah. I could use one of my templates I've created already. I'll just choose any email. Let's use that one. So it's pulled that template into the campaign now. So again, this is built in the design editor version. So you see, it's very simple email. I can preview it, etc. I can save it. I can send and schedule it. Choose. Do you want to send it now or schedule it for later on? Pop in the name of the sender. Here's the this was one of Mohammed's questions here. Yeah, the sender email. So is Mohammed still with us? So this is quite a new feature in HighLevel. I'm still getting my head around a little bit. This is having your sender domain set up. I'm happy to see where it's been giving error messages here saying it doesn't match the email address there. Doesn't match that one. For mine, it seems to be working okay today. But here's where you put your subject line. Any preview text, choose preview text rather, choose your contacts. So if I click on choose contacts, there goes found me there, yeah. So you could add one contact or 1,000 or whatever. I'm just adding myself in this instance. Test to Julian.
Can you select tagged contacts there as well?
You can do, yes, yeah. You might have it set as a smart list. Choose contacts. Choose contacts. Choose contacts from tags there, Steve. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
How does that? I'm just trying to work out how does it work that. I'll try clearing that a second. Let me try this for you, Steve. Yeah. Clear all.
Maybe you select and then the plus sign or something.
Yeah. Well,
the plus to the left. Yeah, there.
Oh, there. Yeah, it's not the most intuitive, is it? There, yeah. So that's well spotted, Steve. Then that's a tag there, yeah. So that's on tags. Yeah. Or your smart list. You've got a smart list set up. So I've got those set up as well. So it's the same. Yeah, so that's how you do it. Yeah, so it's a little bit not so intuitive there, but I'll just clear all. I'll just do it to myself again. That's it. So I just send it to myself there. I'll send it now and click on send. And that's just send a broadcast email just to me there. Yeah. So if I just open my email now, should have it. There's a test I just sent to myself. So always do a live test to send an email. Before you send them, send yourself a live test to make sure it's exactly how you envisage it going out there. So you see there's the email gone out. Quite a plain one. So now if we go back to here, you should see some stats on here. Is it? I think it's a bulk action email I just sent. It's not showing up yet. Oh, there it is there, yeah. That's the email I just sent to myself there. You see it's been accepted, and I should see it's been opened. Yeah, the email was opened, so I can see it was opened by me. So that's pretty much how to send an email campaign. Any questions, guys? No questions, Atticus? It's quite straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing in the chat.
Okay, so that's sending. There's other ways to send emails as well, of course. So, for instance, you might be in the contacts here. Yeah, you might want to send it to your entire list. And click on here like so. Select all 1,700 contacts, and click on send an email. So you might be as many people as you want here. Send an email. Selected them all there. Again, I've got to be careful here because I don't want to send it by accident. So let me do that a bit more safely. Again, I'll just put my name in here. So I'm just selecting one, which is me. I know that. Yeah, I send an email. Total select contact. Confirm and proceed. And here I've got to give it a name. So email, test email. From name, I could put Julian, something like that. Test. Don't do that. I could just do a very quick email, just write it there. And here I could drop in the recipient's name, first name, yeah. So I could write a simple email there. Or again, I could pull in an existing template that you've already designed. You give it a name or browse your library, browse your template library there. Or one that you've already created. You just send an email. That's another way of sending an email. So unless there's any questions, that pretty much covers the email campaigns or email broadcasting HighLevel. Okay, Steve?
Yep, good.
Okay. Now, to get a little bit more advanced, the way I would send these type of emails, I wouldn't use the campaign builder. The way I would do it is use the automation, which is another workflow. But I'll show you the way I would send them anyway. So you see the options. So if you go to automation, and when you do it this way, you can do so much more than just send a single email. Yeah. So I'm in my automations, my workflow list, and I've got a folder here right at the bottom called where is it? It's called turbocharged. I can't find them. Hang on. Turbocharged. So I call it turbocharged broadcast emails because you've got so much more power here. So I would set up a separate workflow for each email I'm sending out, because then I can very easily reuse it in the future, and I've got all my results all in one place. So it's just a different way of achieving the same result, but with having more options later on. So if you look at this one here, what I did back in the 1st of May. I say we've got a separate workshop for workflows here, but simply I'm assigning a user to the email, which is me. I'll show you why we do that in a minute. And then I'm just going to send an email. You just configure who it's coming from. I pulled in the template again. Yeah. You can do an edit. You can edit your template directly from here. Just like you can anywhere. But one of the beauties about this is, you see, because the workflow knows who's been assigned as the user, i.e. me, I can then merge in my signature from my user profile. So I can merge in my signature. So, next week if I decided I want the email to come from Atticus, I just change the user in the workflow, and it'll be personalized to come from Atticus rather than me. So that's just a template there. But in addition, that would achieve the same as a campaign now. It would simply send an email to the 1,000 people that we drop into the workflow, or however many. But in addition to that, then I can start to say, well, I don't want to send one email. I want to send 2 emails. I want to send an email to the people that reply, or to the people that don't open the first email. So you start to build a mini campaign that's a bit more sophisticated than just sending a single email. Does that make sense? So it's 2 ways of achieving the same result.
So sorry, what would trigger that email then?
Well, in this instance, I've been manually triggering it. So to give you an example, so there's no sort of built-in trigger. So what I would do, confirm that, I'll go to contacts. So again, I'll just do it to myself again.
Yeah.
Be safe. Yeah. So there's me. And then I'm going to drop them into the automation here. So see here, automation.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
Like I say, test email. I could give it a name for reporting purposes. It's going to be a workflow type. Set the workflow. I think I called it the 1st of May. Yeah. So I'm going to take that list of people and drop them into that workflow we looked at before. Send it all at once. Again, if you're just starting out, don't start sending like 10,000 emails straight off the bat. You've got to gradually increase the level of emailing that you're doing. I'll show you that in a minute. So don't just jump in and send 20,000 emails, because you'll have issues with spam. But in this case, I'll send all at once. I'll add to the automation. Yeah. And then if you go back to the automation, you see here, turbocharged. Yep. So you should see here that I've been dropped into that workflow. Again, if you look at the enrollment history, it'll tell me that in the history. See that there? I was dropped in the state, and it should give you the actions here. Give you a report. See the workflow ran perfectly. It did everything it should have done. And there's the email. I've just got the email there. Come in. Okay, Steve, that makes sense. That's the.
Yep.
So I didn't need a trigger in that case, because I was manually just dropping them in. Yeah. Some other settings to check on your account. So go to settings, and then go to where are we? Email. Can't see it. Email services. Okay, again, this is covered in our foundations workshop, but very quickly, yeah, you really, on your HighLevel account, you need to set up a default email sending domain. Okay, so this is the one I'm using here. You click on here, view configuration. Yeah, there's just some advanced settings there. We don't need to worry about that too much. But you see here, this is the domain I'm sending my emails from. Yeah. First time you come to this, there's a little bit of setup to do. But what's really important if you are setting this up is if you're setting this up, don't put these settings on your root domain. Okay. So my root domain in this case is julianmills.co.uk. Yep. If I put these DNS settings on my domain, chances are I'd break my regular emailing. So my Outlook would stop working, or my Gmail emails would stop working. So the settings I'm going to show you in a minute. Never put them on your root domain. Always put them on a subdomain, which is created by the first bit here. In my case, I put ng message dot. That creates a subdomain. It's like a subfolder. And then I can put the DNS set. And it gets technical. I can put the DNS settings on there, and it's in its own folder. It's not going to bugger up my regular Outlook, my regular Gmail. That's really important, that one. You get stuck on these guys, you give us a shout. We can help you set these up, by the way. When you see verified domain here, you'll see here, when you first set up your HighLevel account for sending emails, these are the settings you've got to put on your domain name. Okay. So it's a little bit setup involved, but well worth it from an email deliverability point of view. Yeah. Is that okay, Steve? You're looking puzzled.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good. You see here, you always verify it here. And it comes through. I've also enabled the automated domain warm-up. So as I said before, you don't want to jump in right off the bat, sending 20,000 emails out. You want to do it gradually over a number of days, ramping up the volume of email sending so you don't shock Hotmail and Outlook and Gmail with a ton of emails right off the bat. That's really important. So I've enabled it there just to see what it does there for me. Go back there. Another one you might want to think about as well, because this gets asked quite a lot, is reply and email forwarding. Okay, so if you're sending emails out from the system, yeah, the replies are going to come back in under conversations. So you'll see all the replies in conversations. Yeah, they'll be in there. You'll see all your conversations going on there, but they're not going to. It's not going to appear by default in your actual email account. The way around that, if you go to settings and then email services, you've got reply and forward settings. You see here, every time I get a reply coming from an email that the system has sent, it's going to forward it to my regular email address. So it comes into my inbox, so I never miss anybody. Yeah, that can be quite useful. It comes up a number of times actually. People say, I'm not getting replies to the emails, where they're going. So that's how you fix that one, just by having the system forward any replies to your regular email address. And here you can have a reply address here. So I could have put my email address in here, but if I did that, then it wouldn't appear in the conversation view. It wouldn't update the contact record with the reply to the email. So I just pop it in there, and that does the job. Yeah, other things we've got here available: email analytics. So here you can see your email deliverability, get your overall email deliverability. So you might have lots of campaigns, lots of workflows going out, but here you can see your overall summary. Next one here, we've got risk assessment. I must admit, I've got to look into what that does. I've not worked that one out. That's sort of advanced stuff there. Bounce classification. So it's looking at, I've had 6 bounces in the last few days, and it's given me the reason why they bounced. You see here, there's a Gmail, one person with Gmail, the mailbox was full. With Outlook, there's 4 people where their email wasn't configured. Maybe they've deleted the email address. Gives you that one. Then we've got Postmaster tools. This is sort of getting to advanced stuff now in the email marketing. Postmaster tools. This is one I've just started playing with here. So again, Google has a free service called Postmaster tools. So again, with a little bit of a setup, you see here, I've set it up for my sending domain, ng.julianmills. You can view the details there. and Google is telling me how it sees my email sending domain. Obviously, if I've got a high quality sending domain, then the chances of going to spam are less. Yep. Then my IP reputation, that's not applicable for some reason. User reports says I had 2.5% spam report. I must admit, I don't know where it's got that one from. There's no spam feedback. Authenticated traffic, so that's looking good. That's 100%. That's to do with the domain is verifying that I'm the actual sender of the emails. So this is getting to pretty advanced stuff, but it just shows you the level of detail you can go into if you need to. If you've got an issue with email deliverability, you can investigate it later. And that is about it for me at the moment. Is there anything I missed there, Atticus?
You've got your two-way sync as well, haven't you, to Gmail and Outlook?
Good point. Yeah. So on the contact record, did I find a contact record? Find one of mine. I'll show my stuff. This is a conversation with my contact record. So you can synchronize your regular Outlook account or your regular Gmail so that any replies you make to contact customers in your regular Outlook account will automatically populate into the contact record. So you've got a history of not only the automated emails being sent, but the to and fro, back and forth emails that you've been sending manually. You'll see that in here. Now, in order to achieve that, you've got to synchronize your user account. Okay, so we go to settings and then my profile. You scroll down here, you see email two-way sync. See, obviously you have to do it on your machine where you're logged into your Outlook or your Gmail account, G Suite account, but you just synchronize it there. So then every time I receive an email to my email address, it's going to pop a copy of the email onto the contact record in HighLevel. So anyone can come along and see all the email history. Any users in the system can see the email history. It doesn't just live on your Outlook account. Good one, Atticus. Yeah, I forgot that one. And while we're here, on your user account, always have your email signature set up. Again, when we're sending automated emails, we can merge in that signature at the bottom. If you're setting up 200 templates, yeah, and your phone number changes or your logo changes, yeah, you don't want to be going into 200 emails and correcting them for the new logo or the phone number. Much better to merge in the user signature shortcode so it pulls in from this record here. So if the logo changes or whatever, you just update it on this record here and it changes all your 200 templates in one go. Just saves a lot of work in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing worse than trying to find out, going through all the workflows, trying to find emails and updating them. That's a tedious task. So much better to use the ones on the user profile.
Julian, just going back on the synchronization piece.
Yeah,
I've got a situation with somebody who doesn't want all their emails to synchronize with the CRM, but they want to make sure that some emails are kept in the CRM. I was suggesting that just using that BCC thing, does that just sync the email that you add BCC to? That thing at the bottom there.
So the way the synchronization works is it only kicks in the first time the system sends them an email. So you could have someone on the database that isn't syncing because the system hasn't sent them an automated email. That's one way around it, to copy that in the BCC. So the first time you send someone an email, if you pop that in the BCC, then the sync will start straight away.
For that particular individual?
Yes, yeah, yep.
Yeah, okay. So if they've got other people they don't want to sync with the CRM because there might be like a more personal email they're sending to somebody, they don't want other people to see it.
Yes. So
Or can you maybe exclude certain emails that to sync?
I've got to sit in the dark room to work it out now. But it can be an issue with synchronizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if so for instance, if you had your doctor's email address on the system, yeah. If there's a contact on the system, and then you were to send him an email, and you send your doctor an email, it would sync that email to the doctor's contact records. So any user could go in and see that email that you sent to your doctor.
Yeah. That's the sort of thing he's trying to avoid.
Yes, yeah. So again, what's the best way around this? I've looked at it before. I'm just trying to think of the solution for this one. But it comes down to working out a plan, Steve. I'd have to think about it to have a separate conversation.
All right. That's fine.
But yeah, because I had one client where the MD didn't want all his emails to synchronize.
Yeah.
In that case, maybe you set up a different email address for that purpose. So the email address on the CRM isn't personal one or anything like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does need thinking about, yeah. But it'll only synchronize if that contact's in the database. So like say if you had your mum's email address on the database, then it synchronized any emails you sent to your mum. Then any user could look up your mum on the system and see the emails.
Well, that's the answer then. So if the doctor's not on the CRM, then it won't sync with that record. What I'm saying is, it's not going to create a record.
No, sorry, no, it's not. No.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's it then.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
So it'll only sync by emails being sent through the system, won't it? Not emails in your personal, to be clear.
Yeah, no, they've got to be on the database. Yeah, they've got to be on the database to sync. Yeah, it's not going to automatically create them, like Steve says. Yeah. But yeah, I've had cases, Steve, where the owner of the company has got a list of suppliers.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want his emails to synchronize into the list, the suppliers on the database, so that anyone in the office could look up the suppliers' emails and see his correspondence.
Yeah.
It's just something to have to think about. Yeah.
I was using a different CRM a few years ago with another client, and what they could do is if they were sending out they were using Outlook. If they wanted to add the contact to the CRM, they just had to BCC that email in Outlook, and it then basically created a record inside the CRM. I'm wondering if it probably does that as well.
I'm just looking at here. You see here, there, Steve. It gives you there. That's what the BCC does. You're right there. Yeah.
So that's the way of creating the contact in the CRM.
It says, when sending an email from Gmail Outlook to automatically add this conversation and contact in the CRM. So yeah, that would add them. Yeah.
Oh right, great, okay.
Any other questions, guys? Because I'm at the end of my section here. Say if you've got any specific use cases, please drop us a line after this call. You'll get an email with a video recording anyway. Drop us a line and we help you with any specific question you've got. I know Mohammed had one about his the sending domain not synchronizing, which was an issue I had before, but it seemed to correct itself today on mine.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, so I'm going to wait for that to crop up.
I think most of the emails I'm sending any broadcast I'm sending via the workflows.
Yeah,
because that's where I'm always working, so they're always in one place rather than having to dig about in the campaign section. That's my personal preference. So
okay.
So if there's no further questions, then we'll wrap it up for today, guys. We're finishing 15 minutes early. And what's the next workshop next week, Atticus? Is it the calendars we're doing?
Calendars and appointments.
Yep, so it's we're doing the workshop next week on calendars and appointments. There's a couple of updates on there to be aware of. So not only can we do appointments, a 30-minute call or an hour call, we can also do the services. The service functionality has been updated, and then we've got a brand new one for rentals as well. So if you're renting out equipment or anything like that, we can now run rentals through there as well and manage rentals. So that's today's recording of the Simple Email Marketing Workshop with HighLevel and Marketing. You should see on your screen now a QR code. Please use that. You'll be able to book onto the next live workshop, and also book a discovery call if you've got any questions and would like to have a chat with us. So we look forward to talking soon and see you on the next workshop.